What's up, everybody? I'm Connor. We got Benji
and Trevor.
We're all here at the Ascent Farms.
The dojo.
The dojo, that's right. We're at the Jedi Dojo here having some memories, recapping our busy springtime, our winter full of ideation and transition. And yeah, we also went through a whole 2-year process of transplanting our whole entire farm from our last location, the Jedi Temple down in Marion, up to our current location in Mars Hill, North Carolina, here at the Jedi Dojo. It's been quite the transition, but before we get into the details of the farm, let's fast forward a little bit to, well, it's rewind from here, but back to this winter. We had a really awesome time getting some space to ourselves to restore and rejuvenate, while also getting excited about the springtime, getting ready for a big year, the first year that we were planting hemp in 2 years. We had a really big crop a couple of years ago, so we hadn't need to while we were transitioning. Trevor, tell me a little bit about how your winter time was before we got into the heart of spring.
I've been out in Asheville area since July, and I was unsure of what this winter was going to be like for me, but it really turned out to be a great time of learning and healing, and I was going through so much, and I was so grateful to be where I am on the land where I am, in the communities that I'm a part of. So it was a lot of time of reflection and learning, and I feel like we all got so much stronger, and we're ready in the spring to grow, and I'm really excited to see everything that we do and everything that we already are doing.
Benji, how about you? What was your most potent experience this winter?
Most potent experience? Ooh, that's tough.
Or at least, what was the recurring theme of your winter?
Recurring theme, that's much easier. I would say like just test run.
Yep.
Like I feel like there was a lot of things that I knew were coming up onto the horizon, a lot of new growth, a lot of like new levels that we're leveling up into. And for that, a lot of new systems, both like in my own self, a new operating system, technologically wise, financially, just all sorts of new systems, and a lot of like kind of trial and error and exploration while we did have a little bit of time to really just get to know myself more, who I want to be, what I want to share, and the best ways to do that through social media, through technology and all those things, and really just kind of putting myself back in school and also letting a little bit of regeneration take place as well, and exploration in that. And now spring is here, and it's time to like put those things into action. So
It's interesting how we all stayed rooted in at home this winter and spent a lot of time going introspecting, meditating, lots of yoga, sauna and cold plunge. We were just taking care of ourselves all winter long, getting ready for what we all knew was going to be a busy spring this year, getting our new garden ready, as well as transitioning our brand from hemp-based over to our whole all-encompassing regenerative living brand, which is exciting, and we'll talk about some more of that later. But yeah, very, very winter-themed winter. We were hibernating. Yeah, it was good. We all got to root in and really integrate and get ready for a big year.
Yeah, I was gonna say it really is all about setting ourselves up to thrive, and now that we're here, it really feels like that's the truth, and like we've done a lot introspectively and getting the land ready too, and yeah, that's the whole thing. That's why we're all here, is to thrive and to be healthy and be well, and that's why we're all here right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is like, you know, we knew we were going to do like the rebrand and transitioning into something, you know, not just hemp focused, but regenerative lifestyle based. And a big part of me was like, what does that actually look like for me?
Yep.
And in general, not just for me, but what does that look like and feel like? And yeah, really exploring that on all levels. You know, it can be easy when you want to build a business and you are running a business and all this type of stuff to get caught up in that. But it's like we're wanting to build a regenerative business and really steward just like a different way of living. And so there's been like this beautiful like relearning of like temperance, of like allowing, you know, that regenerative, restful, you know, spirit to take place while building and being constructive. And that feels like kind of new to me and has been really exciting.
Yeah, the startup culture is definitely grind, hustle, and yeah, it can feel like you're not doing your business a service if you're taking a break sometimes. But really, we are the business. We are the lifestyle that we're trying to create. And so it's extra important, like you were saying, if we're trying to promote a regenerative lifestyle, we've got to embody that ourselves, live it on a day-to-day basis, and really get clear about what all that means, which I think that's a whole nother fun discussion and dialogue. If we were running, you know, a junk food company selling potato chips and fast food, it wouldn't matter. We wouldn't have any kind of quality standards that we had to uphold for ourselves, because we were just trying to pump out whatever would get bought up and eaten by the masses, and that's just not what we're here to create. That's not fulfilling for us. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was a really important phase for our team in the wintertime. It was so important. And yeah, thankfully we had that space and time, and as soon as March came, it's been go. You and Amanda moved into a new place, which was exciting, expansion for our team. Alex, our videographer, who you can't see behind the scenes right now, he joined our squad in March. And we also started volunteering at some of our favorite local community hubs, which really led the way for us to get excited about what we want to create and hold down for our little corner of the community.
Yeah. Okay, so for people who don't know, what is Mandala Springs?
Mandala Springs is a wellness center, community hub, chocolate factory. They have an ecotourist campsite complex, a beautiful, gorgeous spring creek that runs through the middle of the property with a hot sauna, They do all sorts of different immersive events as well, from Wim Hof men's retreats, multi-week campouts, to ecstatic dance every week. So lots going on over at Mandala Springs. And then we also have Hawk and Hawthorne. Hawk and Hawthorne is a event center as well. They have some of the most epic artists come through. They have a huge, large, expansive meadow property and farm. They have much larger farm infrastructure compared to us or Mandala Springs. And their event center has a big, beautiful barn overlooking the whole property. They host weddings and some other educational events as well. They're more permaculture based there. So Trevor, you've been with us at Mandala Springs doing some of the projects we've been working on with them over there. Can you give us a little recap of some of the work we've done at Mandala this spring?
Yeah, so we started with helping get the garden beds ready, and ultimately the neighbor down the street ended up running that for us, basically, which is another really kind of just cool part of living in community like that is he's there all the time and he's helping us to grow them. But yeah, so we've been starting with the garden beds, and we also have been building platforms for bell tents is what we started recently.
Yep.
And we're also in the middle of planning a week-long camp in August this year. So those are the core things that we've been doing at Mandala.
Excellent. Yeah. Also, we're working on some spring water projects that are pretty exciting, some bathing pools and some different spring waterfalls that trickle throughout the property for beauty and artistic expression. So that's going to be exciting as well. And how about Hawk and Hawthorne?
Yeah, so when I moved to Asheville, I always wanted to be at Mandala Springs, and so that's where I ended up. And being here with Emerald Ascent, and then just loving the Hawk always, and like really appreciating everything that they do. I've been wanting to help them grow mushrooms, and we finally were able to do that this past week, where we inoculated some logs for them. And now that they have a community garden day every week, we've been able to put ourselves out there like that. And yeah, I just feel really grateful to be able to tie the three, primarily Mandala, the Hawk, and us, to tie us together as the holy trinity of fun and, you know, seeing what we can all do together. So yeah, I'm really grateful.
Yeah. Oh, how good are the meals at the Hawk too after we're done working in that hot sun in the morning in the garden?
Yeah. Well, I haven't experienced it fully, but I've had many meals there. But yeah.
It's been really beautiful to see their garden infrastructure and their efficiency, their propagation. Ben has done a really great job organizing things over there, and he's been a big inspiration for me and adjusting some things over at our situation recently.
One thing I love about the Hawk is that they are like have a major focus on like the earth-based stuff and the regenerative farming and the gardening, as well as like the music and the creativity, the education, and bring people together. And I just love how like those things like coexist there in such harmony and like seamlessness. And that's like really like how I want to live my life, is like, you know, not have too much importance on one thing, but have this really beautiful like balance of like fun, freedom, work, play, creativity. I feel like Hawk's doing a really good job of being a space for that in the community, and definitely like what I want to do and what we want to do as well.
Yeah, I think they're a great example for the whole Asheville community of that balance. Yeah, that work-play balance is so important.
Multifaceted venue, space, just land space. Just a really good example of like how, you know, multifaceted any type of space or land project can be, you know.
Maximizing the resources available.
Exactly.
Their whole team, everyone who lives on the land is involved with a different aspect of the business. So I know certain people are more focused on the garden, certain people are more focused on the event side of the business, and I know they do a few other things too. So it's really cool to see everyone who lives there also participating in the business. So they're growing and expanding. It's really cool to see.
And it's beautiful when people have fun, and that's
Yep.
like super important.
Yes, yeah. A lot of those things we did for community were all things we did ourselves too here at our farm. It was just kind of more of the same. We spent a lot of time getting our beds prepared. So that involved, not only did we spread like 50 to 100 yards of biochar throughout our beds, we had like 1,000 mushroom blocks, and we got tons of leaf litter from the forest, and we mixed all that together and created a really nice foundation for our hugelkultur style garden beds, which are in the process of forming now, to mature long term into a consistent source of vitality for our plants to thrive in easily. At another time, we'll get into why we designed the beds the way that we did, but we spent a ton of time this spring just moving organic matter around.
And speaking of that, like,
Yeah.
also I'm just thinking of as far as projects over the winter goes, Justin out there with the chainsaw making
Yep.
amazing benches.
Yep.
You guys in the creek every day,
Yep.
figuring out like how can we just make this little creek that we have an awesome usable space come summer and spring.
Yes.
And so a lot of energy went into that as well while we had the time to just beautify that space. And it's so amazing that what you guys have done, and now
Yes.
we're enjoying it during the heat of the summer.
Oh, that's a good reminder. Yeah, thank you. And I'm sure we've got plenty of good B-roll of that process as well. The creek is going to be, so crucial after we get done just like digging away in the field, working hard in that hot sun, to have that reprieve, to be able to splash into relief. Oh, it's everything.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see, like, it's not instant, but very quickly, like, the progress that we've made, and
Yep.
like beautifying the space, and just like watching this property really start to come to life, and that be like our first little regenerative oasis, that we're creating.
Yeah, we actually had somebody on the farm the other day who's an environmental protection agent of some kind, and she said that the environment we created was a beautiful riparian habitat, and it was better than most of the restoration projects she sees.
Wow.
And that was all
That's awesome.
just us moving the resources we had to make a habitat for ourselves, and by extension it created a habitat for all sorts of fun little forms of life. We got dragonflies, snakes, fish. There's a heron that fishes in that creek, and so it's been really fun to see that whole environment evolve over time, and what kind of life has moved into the little habitat we've created.
Yeah, and all that biodiversity is just gonna like help us as we have more sensitive plants in the field and things like that. It's just like we have welcomed so many more creatures and helpers before we're even really getting started, just by like doing that.
Yeah, and by slowing the water down in the creek, it's going to seep into our field more and reduce our need for irrigation over time. All the good things. So, we got our garden beds ready. We worked on our creek, our water, earth, water, fire. We burned a bunch of wood chips into biochar. Air, we had a lot of inspiration as well for our new brand. So looks like we worked with all the elements so far this year.
Oh, yeah.